I would like to introduce Dr. Inderpal Singh and Dr. David Richardson for the next session, where we're going to learn more about devices.
To the game of all games. In the next 60 minutes, you'll see 6 fierce competitors fight it out with wit and guile to see who will be the glaucoma innovator supreme. Don't leave your seats, ladies and gentlemen. The excitement is about to start.
Well, this is my first Glaucoma 360 meeting, so it's really an honor to be here. Congratulations to all the organizers. A fantastic experience, and last night was wonderful as well. But I'm honored to be up here. But we have a fantastic panel. We're going to talk about new devices, and we kind of separated them into kind of 2 categories. We have one category where more the lasers, the less invasive ones, and then more of the stents and the bypass procedures. So we're going to have kind of a game show kind of theme today. Well, let's get started to keep on time. So with that said, I'm going to invite Daria Blumenthal from BELKIN Laser to give us her perspective.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Daria Lemann-Blumenthal, the CEO of BELKIN Laser. This is actually the second time presenting here at the Glaucoma 360, and it's always a pleasure. Today, I will provide you with an update on our progression in the last year, specifically the results of the first in-human trial, which are very encouraging. But first, here is a refresher on our technology. BELKIN Laser is a clinical stage medical device company developing an automated 1-second laser treatment for glaucoma. Our vision is to promote accessibility to glaucoma care by offering a very simple, intuitive procedure that can be applied by any ophthalmologist as a first-line treatment of choice. The DSLT, direct SLT procedure, is automatic. It does not involve contact with the eye. It is activated within the single press of a button. Then 100 laser beams are delivered to the trabeculum through the limbus within 1 second. This is made possible by a high-resolution image acquisition algorithm, which locates the treatment zone and locks in the eye tracker. The procedure does not require expertise and involves a negligible learning curve. So what has changed in the past year since we last met? The LIGHT trial was published, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. This trial magnifies the real value that laser plays in the management of glaucoma. BELKIN Laser, we have finalized our first in-human trial. We have also added Moorfields Eye Hospital in London as one of our clinical sites to our multi-center randomized controlled trial in Europe called Glorious, mostly funded by the Horizon 2020 grant. We have also raised more than $5 million initial closing of our Series B financing round. So we have been busy. Now I will walk you through on how we structured our first in-human trial. The innovation at the heart of our technology is the Trance-Clurel approach. With DSLT, the laser beam is delivered to the trabeculum through the limbus rather than through the cornea. Inevitably, there is a loss of energy. In order to compensate for this loss, according to our calculations, you have to multiply energy by 2.5 to 3. However, since this was the first time we treated patients with our automated procedure, we started with a conventional 0.8 millijoule and gradually increased to 1 and 1.4 millijoule. In total, we treated 15 patients with IOP of 22 and higher after washout. At 6 months follow-up, we saw a reduction of 22% in IOP in those patients treated with energy of 1 millijoule and higher. In the subgroup treated with energy of 1.4 millijoule, we saw a reduction of 27% in IOP. Also remarkable is the reduction in number of medication from 1.6 at baseline to 0.4 at 6 months. There were no serious adverse events. We had 4 cases of subconjunctival hemorrhage, most of which resolved within a few hours. We are now updating our algorithm to skip major capillaries in order to refrain from future SEH. Throughout this clinical process, clinical assessment, we've always had our dedicated medical advisory board to guide us. Our main value proposition is bridging the gap between the enormous number of glaucoma patients and the limited number of ophthalmologists by enabling the ophthalmologist to treat many more patients with our simple and intuitive procedure. This will also add a new revenue channel for many doctors worldwide. Our solution is applicable for the prevalent open-angle glaucoma, and it will also pioneer treatment for angle closure glaucoma, as with our transcleral approach, we overcome the challenge of the narrow angle. Of course, we couldn't have achieved all this and move forward without our great investors. So far, the company has raised $12 million in equity and grants. We are now raising additional $5 million to close our Series B financing round. We are very excited about the impact that our technology can and will have in the day-to-day treatment of glaucoma. I appreciate your interest and look forward to sharing more exciting news next year. I would also like to add our best wishes to our friends and partners in China at this difficult time. Thank you.
Thank you. So, thank you. For a second. I kind of lied. I said there was no questions, but we're going to ask one little quick question for after each one, and then we'll move forward. So, David, do you have a question?
Yes, I found that very interesting, and very excited about SLT technology, especially with the newest results that have come out. I've been telling residents for a long time now that they need to consider this as a first-line treatment rather than after everything else has failed. I also find it interesting that you mentioned that it could work in narrow angle. As you know, in Asia, narrow angle is a huge problem, and trying to convince surgeons there that any of the MIGS angle-based procedures are effective is a high bar to go over. Why do you think it would work in angle closure when it's working at the trabecular meshwork? If the aqueous can't get to the trabecular meshwork, even if you can approach it through a transcleral technique, why would it work?
Okay, so first of all, of course, we have to do clinical trials for angle closure glaucoma. The idea here is that, of course, it depends on how many percentage of the angle is open or totally closed. Okay, so definitely when you have at least 180% of the angle open, you can treat with SLT. However, today it's quite difficult to find doctors or glaucoma specialists in China. There are less than 500 in China to treat angle closure, to treat with SLT. So initially, I guess, they would do the laser iridotomy to open a bit the angle and then do the SLT. But even if you don't have the measures to open or to visualize the angle, there is no safety issues here. So you can do the DSLT because you don't have to visualize the angle, even with narrow angles, given that it's not totally closed, of course, but this is acute. So
fantastic. Well, thank you. We're going to get more questions, too, to you later on as we get the discussion. But thank you for that. Well done.